What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another big Nintendo Switch news video. Today, we've got the biggest of biggest news when it comes to E3 2021 and also what Nintendo's plans are. I'm going to go over exactly what they had to say so you guys know the date, the time, and where you can watch the big show from Nintendo Direct at E3. I'm also going to go over 5 of my Volume 1 predictions for Nintendo's big show. So look forward to videos that I'll be dropping up until E3, going over my predictions for the show, but I'll do them in 5 so I can make it nice and easy to digest for you guys. So before we get into all of this, please make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe if you're someone new, as I drop daily gaming content and live streams as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into this and into the information. And we're starting off from the official Nintendo of America Twitter account. Once again, links in the description below to all the information that you guys need. So first up, Nintendo at E3 2021, 6/15, 9 a.m. PT, that is 12 p.m. ET, June 15th, 9 a.m. Tune in for a hashtag Nintendo Direct with roughly 40 minutes of info focused exclusively on hashtag Nintendo Switch software, mostly releasing in 2021, followed by around 3 hours of gameplay in the Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 2021. They provided a link to the page with pretty much the same information, just their website to where you can watch it. Now, 100%, 1000%, 10,000%, I will be restreaming the event. I will be covering the event. We will have coverage not only leading up until the show with live streams right here on my channel to get you guys ready for everything and also to get your opinions on things, but I'll also be restreaming the show and having a pre-show beforehand. We usually go about 2 to 3 hours before the show starts so we can get everybody in, get everybody hyped, get everybody's thoughts and opinions on the big show. So it's going to be a ton of fun. So you guys can join me at probably around 7 a.m. or so on 7 a.m. PT or so on June 15th. Now, I do want to go over exactly what they had to say here. And for those that are maybe this is your first E3 with Nintendo Switch or your first time kind of tuning into this degree, let's go ahead and break down first just the Nintendo Direct at E3, then what you can expect for the Treehouse Live, because there are some differences, but there are some things that might surprise you in the Treehouse Live stuff. So let's first talk about what they had to say. They said that they're focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch software, mostly releasing in 2021. So they didn't say completely releasing in 2021, they said mostly releasing in 2021. So there was some leeway there to have some 2022 titles, or maybe if a 2021 game slips into 2022, it covers their tracks on that front. So people are expecting or already thinking based off of that various different things. But I just want to let you guys know, yes, Nintendo mainly focuses at E3 on the games that are coming out in that calendar year. Now, there are some times where they do go above and beyond that, right? Which we've seen it before, but usually what they'll do is that they'll wait till the fall direct and then talk about some games that are going to be coming out in early 2022 or early the next year. I shouldn't say 2022 because we're talking about the past here, but the following year, they'll talk about some of those games. So I wouldn't expect a lot of 2022 games to be at this show, but I would expect them to be focusing, like they say here, on the games that we're going to be able to play this year, which is a good thing. I do like that. And it's roughly 40 minutes long. And when they say roughly 40 minutes, they usually go a bit over, not under. So if some of you guys are thinking, oh, it's going to be like 38 minutes or 36, they usually go a bit over with it. Now, another thing here that I wanted to talk about is the 3 hours of gameplay when it comes to Nintendo Treehouse Live. Now, in the past, they've actually had sometimes game announcements there. Not a lot, but sometimes they have. So, for example, Metroid Samus Returns was announced at the Nintendo Treehouse Live after their show. So you can maybe, just maybe, expect something like that, but maybe not. We have to wait and see. I think they're probably going to get most of what they need to talk about in the Nintendo Direct or at another show or something that's side to what they're doing, but this seems to encompass all of their plans for E3 2021. So that's got me very excited. 3 hours and 40 minutes plus of pure content from Nintendo. And when it comes to my end, you're going to be seeing a ton of content when it comes to the games being announced, individual videos on those, recaps, my opinions and thoughts. We're going to have a ton of fun on the channel. Now let's discuss my predictions for the show for my volume 1, because you got to talk about a lot of different stuff, you know, and I'll even give you guys a bonus one as well. But you got to talk about a lot of different stuff here because it's 40 minutes long, and these directs are usually pretty fast paced, right? They go through different titles one by one. I think Nintendo's kind of perfected the formula when it comes to the pacing of directs and everything. And even if people feel that they have a bad one, it's usually still chocked full of games and going at a pretty decent clip when it comes down to it. Now let's talk about some of these predictions that I do have. And I have 5 here, and then I have one bonus one for you guys. And then in my next predictions video, I'll lead off in terms of more of an elaboration on what my bonus one was. So we'll kind of connect these all together so we can string them together and watch them. So it should be a lot of fun. So let's first start off with Bayonetta 3. I made a video on this, and yes, I think that Bayonetta 3 is definitely going to be at E3 2021. It is time. People don't have a lot of confidence in this game because they haven't seen it at all. No gameplay for the past 3+ years since it was announced so many years ago at the Game Awards. But I do think that we're finally going to see this game. I don't know if it's going to be a 2021 game. I would hope they would do so. If they pull an Astral Chain, that would be fantastic. And what I mean by that is that they announce the game and then it releases very shortly after the announcement. Astral Chain was like a February announce, and then it released like in August or September. So yeah, like that's what I would like for Bayonetta 3, and I think that this is going to be one of the best, if not the best action game, stylish action game ever created, because Platinum Games knows exactly what they're doing, and they know how to innovate, and they know how to bring the hype. Astral Chain is easily one of my favorite action games of all time. It's right up there with Bayonetta 2 in terms of my favorite of all time and the best of all time for myself, not for everybody else, just for myself. So I expect very big things out of Bayonetta 3, even though I haven't even seen a single clip of gameplay footage from it. That's how much respect I have on Bayonetta's name, and of course, Hideki Kamiya, Platinum Games, and the people over there. Next up, we have Metroid Prime 4 and a 2D Metroid game. Now, I still think that Metroid Prime 4 is probably about a year out or so, but I think that a 2D Metroid game is more what the focus is here. And I've talked about this multiple times. I've made videos saying that I'm 99.99% sure that a new 2D game is in development, and I will stick with that. I'm 99.99999% sure that a new 2D Metroid game is coming from Mercury Steam, the same developers behind the excellent Metroid Samus Returns, the remake of Metroid 2 from the Game Boy. So I do feel that we are going to see the first footage and release date, and it is going to be this year, of 2D Metroid and a teaser trailer for Metroid Prime 4. Now, next up, we have the anniversary, the celebration of one of Nintendo's most storied and greatest franchises of all time, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2, plus other Zelda games as well. So expect to see stuff like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess being ported over. I fully expect that. I also expect to see a brand new trailer for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, giving us details on exactly what we can expect, more with the story and also with the upgrades in gameplay. What's going on with the Sheikah Slate? What are they going to do with the open world? What are they going to do with potentially like Epona or even traveling? How are you going to get around? Does Zelda play a bigger part into gameplay? We could get the first details on that at E3 2021. Who knows if the game is going to launch this year? I think they're trying to get it out for this year, but I think it might fall to next year if they can. Now, next up is a legacy title. Now, what do I mean by a legacy or dormant IP? Well, it's exactly just that. Stuff like Ice Climbers, stuff like Kid Icarus, stuff like F-Zero, Star Fox, these type of games that we don't see very often anymore from Nintendo. I feel that there will be at least one revival from these legacy IPs. Now, out of all of these, obviously, Star Fox is the newest one because we did get Star Fox Zero on the Wii U back in like what, 2015 or so. So that wasn't too long ago, but it was a remake or retelling of Star Fox 64. We really haven't had a new game in the series when it comes down to the story and everything since like Star Fox Command or something like that. So it's been a while, and I think that it'll be time for one of these to rise up again. Now, I personally want Kid Icarus, but I think that it might be Star Fox. I know some fans have been asking for F-Zero. I just don't know if that's ready at this point. So I would give more of the probability out of all of these to Star Fox, but we'll see what actually ends up happening. If we get any one of these, Ice Climbers or a Kid Icarus or F-Zero or Star Fox, whatever, I'll be happy with any one of them, but don't expect more than one, and heck, it might not even happen at all, knowing what Nintendo goes through with some of these dormant IPs. Now, next up, we have a new Kirby title. This is a pretty safe bet on here. It's been 3 years since the last Kirby game, so it's been a while. I think Star Allies was 2018, so it's been 3 years since then. So I think that we are going to see a brand new Kirby game, and I'm hoping that they go back to what they had before, which is like Kirby Triple Deluxe, Kirby Planet Robobot. I think those games were considerably better than Kirby Star Allies. Not a bad game by any means, but definitely not the style and tone that I like for my Kirby games. I'm an old school Kirby fan. I've been playing them since the NES back in the day. I thought Kirby was great. Kirby was like my favorite franchise back then. So I do feel that they're gonna bring the heat with a brand new Kirby game, and we could see the first action of that said game at E3 2021. Now, I did promise a bonus pick here, guys, which will lead into the next video, and I've talked about this already, and that's the reason why it's a bonus, but I want to discuss Monolith Soft new IP or Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, I've heard some rumors that it's a Xenoblade Chronicles game that is coming. Like, it's a brand new one, not just a port of X or something like that, but a brand new Xenoblade game will be coming to Nintendo Switch at some point. Now, will they announce it at E3? Not so sure about that, but my prediction is that they're going to have some Monolith Soft action, whether that is a new Xenoblade game or it's that new IP that we think that they're developing. Plus, as a little bit of a side note, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Xenoblade Chronicles X port announcement. So maybe we get a little bit of a double pack here. Brand new Xenoblade and port of X, or a brand new IP and port of X. So I'm hoping that we get both of those, or at least one of those, or something from Monolith Soft, because they've been too quiet for too long, and I think that this is the time and place to really show off what Monolith Soft has next for Nintendo Switch fans out there. So those are my Volume 1 predictions for the Nintendo Direct at E3. What are some predictions that you guys have? What do you think about the big show? Are you guys excited now at this point? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you for the next one. Peace.